Those are the blue fez delegates. The BFDs wear those. That is a blue fez. Mhm. Mhm.
I immediately pictured it as an Easter egg basket.
That is correct. The blue fez delegates. You're very.
Are super effective. I'm sure they are.
Welcome to In the Know with Steph and Joe. In the Know with Steph and Joe is all about small business development. These two entrepreneurs bring real life experience, laughter, and well, just a ton of knowledge on how to build your small business and make it thrive. It's your creation, it's your baby. Now learn how to make it sing. Welcome to 2022. Steph, you've looked better.
Oh. She's not here to defend herself.
I know.
That's so sad.
Otherwise, I'd be running.
So I'll announce it first. Steph has done so well during 2021 that 2022, she said she needed to take a little bit of a break from this and focus on her business and grow it because she needs to expand. She's getting more accounts, all the great things that a business owner wants, but a radio show host on the side can deal without for sometimes, right? So she is off doing her awesome business and running it and expanding and growing. And we're really proud of her. So we're going to wish her luck for the next little bit. And I'm going to kind of take over. So kind of be in the know with Joe.
A good break?
Yeah.
It does it?
Yeah,
as long as you add the pause to it.
Yeah.
In the know with Joe.
Sometimes a pause or silence is the exclamation mark.
It makes it sound like more intelligent. Sounds
Yeah,
good. So,
of course. Let's not forget our good friends over at Epic Media,
Please.
right? The financial support of Epic Media for In the Know with Steph and Joe is absolutely fantastic. So with the continued growth of technologies these days, it's essential that you have an effective internet marketing strategy. I really have trouble with the word strategy. It's
maybe
hard.
That's a goal for you.
Yeah, it could be. Whether you need a custom website designed or help integrating your social media accounts to your business marketing program, check them out at Epic Media Inc. That's INC.com.
So today we had on our speaking of social media, we mentioned that we had Brian Malnati, who is in the studio here today with Keller Williams Success Realty.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome, Brian. We also mentioned we had Mike Campbell Jr. He is a mortgage broker for Cross Country Mortgage. He unfortunately is a little under the weather with kind of everything that's going around and another crisis I'm not going to mention. So, but he's wasn't able to make it. So instead, I'm so happy that we were able to get Dan Kahn in here. He made a recent growth, and I'm very proud to hear that. And so I'd love to hear your goals and get into that kind of stuff for what you have planned for 2022, because you have some big things, I feel like, in the works with what you just kind of was able to accomplish this last year.
Yeah. So I've recently accepted the position as president of Keller Williams Success Realty, which is a market center out of Barrington, Illinois. Our market spans anywhere from the water, so basically like Evanston, Winnetka, right, all the way out towards Rockford, up and over the Wisconsin state border, and then we graze across the top of Chicago. We are a company of 300 plus real estate agents that move the largest volume of real estate in Northern Illinois.
That's awesome.
And you had to set some goals, I assume, to get to that position.
Sure did. And so I guess the nuanced conversation there is that every conversation you have, regardless of who they might be, is the interview process, whatever the next version or chapter of your business might be. Right. And I'm sure as an entrepreneur, you experience that day in and day out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so I guess if I had to put a bow on all of that, is that our intention is to take over, build empires around our people. Awesome. And then those combinations of smaller empires lead to a larger empire.
Right.
And it is through creating the environment by which these people will accomplish that is where I show up.
I love that. So, Brian, you have had a stellar year this year. You mentioned growth this year. I'm curious, again, I want to dive into what your plans are, your aspirations for 2022, because obviously we all kind of got thrown off our chairs. So goals were a little bit thrown off, right? We all had to adjust. That's something I want to talk about as well.
Yeah.
So let's kind of dive into first and foremost, just how you guys set your goals, right? So my mindset is SMART goals. That's the immediate acronym I go to. I'm curious as to how you guys set your goals and want to achieve them. So Brian, Brian, dive in.
Okay.
Yeah. You have the upcoming business, kind of going out and getting those homes. What's your goals and where you want to be?
Yeah, basically what I do is I look at my production from last year, okay, and I say, okay, I did phenomenal last year. What do I want to do to grow my business this year? Okay, do I want to grow it 10%, 15%, 20%?
Right.
And that lets me know, okay, how many more homes I need to get this year to accomplish my goal, that to beat last year's goal.
Right.
So that's what I do. Don't set your goals too high either. Okay, let's say you did 40 homes last year. Don't say I want to do 100 homes this year, because if you set it too high and you don't accomplish it, then you feel rejected. You're like, oh, I'm not doing well. Right. You beat yourself up. And you're like, why did I set my goal so high? And then sometimes you progress backwards. So set your goals, something you can reach. Okay. And you don't have to do it for the year. You can do it quarterly too. Okay. Because if you break it down in quarter, then what you do at the end of that quarter is you give yourself like a little pat on the back, like, hey, I did great. I'm going to go out and get me this. I wanted this TV or something like that, or I wanted this new car. Go get it. Give yourself a little pat on the back. It don't have to be something like that, or just do a night out, a nice dinner with the wife and kids or something like that.
I love that you mentioned that, because that's the two things you hit there that were pretty important. Was one, that you mentioned, time bound, like let's put it within, and this is the SMART goals. I don't know if you kind of gave me, have you heard of SMART goals before?
No, you're gonna teach me something.
I am. All right. So SMART goals, it's an acronym that's out there. I learned it a long time ago. I think it was high school or whatever, but it's specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound.
Oh, we're talking my language.
Okay,
I didn't know we were talking about
this. See? Oh man, aren't you glad you came here today?
That's why.
Okay, I'll stick around.
That's why you're in the know with Steph and Joe.
With Joe.
He had the pause.
Yeah, come on, man. I gotta leave her some cred right there, right? I'm not just cutting her out altogether. I gotta leave her the time slot. So specific. Set real, like you mentioned, real specific numbers that you can get, right?
Correct.
That's attainable. Specific is set real numbers with real deadlines, right?
Yes.
You got to give yourself a specific goal to get, right? That's first and foremost. Measurable. Make sure your goal is trackable, right? You mentioned I have this many homes. I can go and do this many more homes, right? That's something I can do. Attainable. Do work towards a goal that is challenging but possible. Right. So let's get that goal that, and I'll be a first advocate that I don't believe you should set one level of a goal if you're talking specific numbers. Right. I think you should set tiered levels of goals. Right. I think we mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again. BHAGs. I mentioned it in a group that we were in a couple of days ago. A BHAG is a big, hairy, audacious goal. Right. And so that's your top premium goal. Right. And then you have your big goal, and then you got your goal, right? Correct. Your basic goal, your big goal, and your BHAG, your big old hairy goal, right? Whatever you want to call it. So attainable is something you want to set, but you also want to give yourself some kind of fairly within reach. So that way, oh my God, I almost got to that BHAG, or I got to that BHAG. Man, my next goal could be even bigger than I thought I could do, right? Realistic, be honest with yourself. Again, you know what you're capable of, or your team is capable of doing. Yep. Don't go out and say I'm doing a gazillion homes when I can only do half a gazillion, right? Or whatever it may be. And then time bound. Make sure you got a deadline on it, right? SMART goals. I've been setting these for myself since I'll send you the link.
I think we're going to teach each other some stuff.
Awesome. I love this. So I've been doing these since I was like in high school. I was taught it, and then I just went out and like started to do that. And it's like, you definitely have to write stuff down. You definitely have to take that goal and present yourself with it and run with it and know it's there, know it's doable. But you have to take that, like if you're talking over a year, I love that you broke it down into quarterly, because, you know, after a first quarter, I may look at my year-long goal and go, I'm going to blow that out of the water. I'm adjusting, which we did last year.
Right.
We knew we were hitting our BHAG in August. Now it was like, all right, what do we do now? Well, what's the next goal?
Right.
Let's go for this.
That's
right?
why by breaking it down in quarter, you can do that. You can say, okay, I already blew that number out of the water. Let's go for the Augusta here now. You know, let's get even more.
And you can adjust it.
Absolutely.
You can constantly be looking at it. And if it's always in the back of your head, you know you're going to be watching your numbers. You know you're going to be looking at that stuff and going, all right, what's next?
Can we go granular on each of these topics?
Yeah. Let's do that. You want to start off? All right, specific.
Yeah. Well, let's back up one quick second. What you guys identified with not setting the goal too high is avoiding the detrimental outcome of you not attaining that goal.
Correct.
Right. And that not only shows up in the people that you're attempting to affect, right? And the effect of that, because those are different words, but mentally, that might disable you.
Absolutely.
Right.
Because what happens when we don't accomplish our goals, like, right.
When the old adage is shoot for the stars, and even if you only hit the moon, you'll still succeed. That's great, except the reality behind that is that that's going to pay a toll on your psyche.
By not hitting the stars every time you want to shoot for the stars, right? Yeah, absolutely.
And so here in this conversation, I think we're going to take your SMART goal, if we could, and then I have different acronyms that we use in my world.
Interesting.
And so it is what you just described in my world shows up as a 135 or a GPS. Okay. And what we were originally alluding to was that if you want something to grow, you need to measure it. And when you measure something, it actually causes it to grow.
Correct.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
And
absolutely.
So in my world, we have one overarching goal. Okay. And this in the KW world, Keller Williams, there's a book that Gary Keller specifically wrote called The One Thing. And the mentality around that is, what is the one thing that such by doing so makes everything either easy or unnecessary? Okay. And so let's look at that KW and Dan's role. So what is the number one thing that we're looking to accomplish, right? So if you, for anybody that might be watching, so there's one thing, and then just below that one thing, there are 3 other big boulders that help us accomplish that one thing at the top.
Totally.
Okay. And then these 3 boulders that are right below each have 5 measurable metrics that we have to hit in order for us to accomplish the 3. And the beautiful thing about all this is that the 5 topics that exist under the 3 boulders immediately lead to the 3 boulders. And while you're focusing on the 3 boulders and the one thing at the top by accomplishing these 5, then that leads to the major success.
Great book too, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
It's
that's
I didn't write it, so I don't want to say
no, but it is. But it is. Yeah, I read it a couple times.
I've had the opportunity to be in the room with that gentleman that wrote that series of times. Most recently, I think I've been out in Austin, Texas, probably 3 or 4 times over the last 3 months. And what I've shared is that every time that I'm in that room, it is a great investment of time, not only time, but also money. And that the cup that I walk into that room with gets bigger every single time.
Yeah.
You know, you find that. And I love that when I go, it doesn't matter if you're seeking those people that are leaders and excellent in their field. You may go into it knowing what they're talking about, but no matter what, you're going to pull a nugget or two, because you're never going to absorb everything. You can always go back and learn more. And even they're constantly changing and learning. So they're going to come back with a new nugget the next time you see them.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about going out and, trying to get those next people and expand your knowledge, grow, hit your goals. It's by doing that and becoming, better at what you do.
Yeah. In my world, that shows up as take what you need and literally leave. So take what you need in that moment and then walk out.
Right.
Because you stay there and you take everything in. The reality is, if you try to do everything or everything you earn in that one moment in time, you're never going to accomplish it.
Right. Which it's not like a selfish thing. It's more like hey, use your time wisely.
Take what you need and leave.
Get what you need and get out. Right. Move on.
Joe, just real quick. Ted, how are you? Linda's in. Happy New Year.
Hi, Lynn.
And Lynn as well. Real
Lynn.
quick, for the hundreds of thousands of listeners that we have that are always dialed in weekly to your show with these 2 gentlemen, if they want to ask a question or sell a home or whatever they do, how do they get in touch with them?
Yeah, please tell us your contact. Brian.
Hi, Brian Malati from Keller Williams. You can contact me at my cell phone number, 630-330-5129. or you can email me at bmal@kw.com.
Love that.
Nice.
B-Mall.
B-Mall. That's his nickname for anybody that doesn't know him. It is B-Mall. Singapore. We got a listener from Singapore.
Look at that, Gary. How are you, brother?
Love that.
Good morning. Yeah, well, it's early in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, there.
Singapore.
5 in the
Just
morning.
trying to bring in the content that wakes people up.
So are you guys licensed in Singapore? Help this guy out.
Yeah, can you guys-
We can find him an agent. Actually, we are
Yeah,
worldwide.
Keller Williams is
Maybe you could get them here from Singapore.
There you
if
go.
needed, right? Like get them a house in this area. That's right. So you mentioned the 135. That's the one goal, right? The one thing you need, the 3 boulders to get you there that you need to get there, and then you said topics.
There are 5 actionable steps that will help you accomplish
right?
each
Okay.
boulder. Yep.
Period. Okay, so I love that. I'm gonna actually make a note of that.
I have documents and stuff like that.
We're gonna talk. So
Yep.
you also mentioned GPS. What
Same
is
thing.
that? Same thing.
Same thing.
Goals.
And so you'd have to actually Google this, but I know there was a point in time in Keller Williams history where they were using certain acronyms, and those actually are trademarked by somebody else. So we use 135 or we use GPS. One of those two. I just got somebody in trouble by saying that out loud.
We're not regulated that
Yeah,
way.
but the
right?
reality is that everybody's got an acronym for it. Look at this. It's the same thing.
Right.
We're
Oh,
talking the same
absolutely.
language.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where this one I love because I could tell it to anybody, right? It's a SMART goal. What's a SMART goal? It's just an acronym.
That's right.
I love thinking about this, but let's say we all kind of work together. We all sit down and you got your team together and you set up your goals and everybody's got these goals done and right. And then you walk out of that meeting and everybody goes right back to the way they were.
Accountability.
Right. Like how do you guys, hold yourself and your team accountable for making sure that these goals, are attained? Not just right. You can take a big goal that's meant to be for the quarter or the year, whatever. But how do you make sure that the steps in everyday process?
I'll jump in on that if you don't mind, Joe.
Yep.
I do have an accountability partner, okay, which you should have.
Yes.
And that accountability partner is going to hold you accountable. Okay, we exchange what our topics are going to be, what goals we want to reach, and they're calling us on a weekly basis, sometimes on a daily basis. If I want to make 30 phone calls today on past clients, did you call your people today? Yes, I did. Okay, did you call your people today? So you need that accountability partner to hold you accountable. Okay.
And that's not somebody you're talking about like an advisor. That's just a buddy.
A buddy, yeah, it could be anybody.
Says, hey, this is what I want to do. Hey, I want to do
somebody that you
Let's-
trust that's
right?
gonna, you said, hey, I want you to hold me accountable. Somebody's gonna be there
I love
and
that.
do that and call you. Okay, so don't pick somebody it's laying on the couch all day long and
a procrastinator
right,
in themselves,
exactly, right.
right?
You want somebody who's actually out there doing the same thing you're doing, or possibly in another business. That's a real go-getter. You want to get somebody, and they tell you to hang out with like-minded people. If you want to grow your business, hang out with somebody who actually wants to grow their business.
Right.
And that's the way to grow your business and set your goals. Because you see
Absolutely.
them doing well, you want to do well then too.
Well, let's quickly talk about the people that you guys literally surround yourselves with, because you're the byproduct of the 5 people that you tend to surround yourself with. I think I mentioned that
Right.
an hour ago.
Right.
And so if the people you surround yourself with are literally laying on the couch, well, you can expect
Yeah,
that you'll end up the same way.
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I guess where the accountability might show up is either somebody that you went and sourced out, or a coach that you hired, or the fact that other people might be dependent on you. In
Mhm.
my world, that shows up as when I ask what's important to you, time or money? Is it
Right.
a combination of both? And typically in that moment, the agent will share with me, well, I want to make more money and I want this. Okay, if you were to ask your daughter, what would they say? Because it's not money.
Right.
I'll tell you right now. They
Right.
want to spend time with you after dinner.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Yep.
And so then in certain people's organizations, your GPS and your 135 immediately translate into their world. So if you don't accomplish and provide the environment, then they're not affecting their goals either.
Right.
And where a lot of people show up like in generality is where they put out a weight loss goal or an exercise goal onto the internet. And by doing that, announcing that publicly, they're holding themselves publicly accountable.
And they have to keep posting and keep
That's
doing
exactly
it up.
right.
Right. Exactly. Luckily for me, my accountable partner, I sleep next to every
Yeah.
night, and she
Yeah.
also runs the business and owns more of the business than I do, which is awesome. So we're
I sleep with the boss.
Yeah, absolutely. I sleep with I sleep with the boss. But it's nice to know that we.
Chuckles in the studio.
Yeah, I mean we're getting some laughs.
And
from
we'll go
behind
to a
the,
commercial
screen
break
there.
after that.
it's nice to know that, because we will do the same thing, where we'll talk to each other and we'll sit down and go, all right, we need to do this, we need to do that, right? And we go ahead and do it. We also have two great project managers, a business development manager, and we just this year acquired a contents manager that handle all of our crew and whatnot, and all of them are aggressive and goal setting. So it's not us going out and my wife and I thinking back and forth to each other, what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? How we'll do it this way. It's going, hey, what can we do to benefit these guys' lives? And they want to then go and build this business. And how can we get that accomplished? And if we can all do it together, everybody's holding everybody accountable. It's not just my wife and I. We don't have to be the ones that are out nitpicking at our other managers. They're nitpicking at each other too. Not nitpicking, but holding each other accountable, saying, hey, let's do this, right? We want to build, one of our goals this year is to build a classroom in our facility to where we can host, real estate agents and give, tutorials on what happens when you walk into a house and it's flooded. Because there's been many times where a real estate agent has walked out and the next day the house is flooded, right? And we've had that where we've showed up multiple times for that at the closing, or what should have been the closing, and that deal falls through, right? So how to approach that situation and not lose the deal, right? Because that's a very big part. And we know that having the more knowledge as a real estate agent can really benefit. It's a tool in your tool belt. You guys can easily take that on, but we want to be able to do that. Plumbers, same thing, right? HVAC, all these people are people that walk in first on that scene. Yep. And to have the knowledge on how to be the best to try and save that property, and maybe the negotiations and all that stuff included, it'd be really good. We can easily. So our big thing is educating, and that's our goal this year.
And you got a team, and you can make it competitive for that team. You can set goals for that teammates.
Oh yeah.
Like, okay, who's got the most? Who's got the best cleanup, or
now we're layering. Who's got the nicest van? Who keeps their van in tidy shape? Absolutely.
So by setting smaller goals for them, for your team, call it, if you don't mind me calling your team, because it's exactly what they are.
Crew.
Yeah, just by sending those incentives.
Can I share 3 insights really quick?
Absolutely.
Escape my brain. So highly functional people that are accomplished like being held accountable.
Right.
Entrepreneurs.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Like, I think that in the conversation, you would literally say, like, yep, please hold me accountable, because it's beneficial to you in some way.
In fact, I did that the other day where I was, I literally said to somebody, please email me this so that way I can reply.
You want it. You seek it out.
I'm going to reply to you. I just won't do it if you don't email me, and I know that. But I want to do it. Yeah.
Right. So highly functional realtors in my world, right? So just name a few. So we have Tyler Lukey, Rich Tepper, Don Bremer, Beth Repta, all these huge teams, right?
1%.
They would literally tell you,
1%ers.
Please hold me accountable. That's right. They're the largest real estate agents in Northern Illinois.
Yeah.
All of which, by the way, belong to Keller Williams Success Realty. We were part of their story, but we amplified their brand because that's our job.
Yep.
So one thing is that they want to be held accountable. They require it, right? Because they know that it helps them. When it comes to folks such as yourself with your organization, right? The reality in a real estate agent's world, and Brian, you probably agree with this, is that when we leverage your expertise in our business, you are literally an extension of our business. Absolutely. And so when we make decisions to work with you, right, you are a representative of us. So if you're highly accountable on your own, that speaks volumes in our world, because when somebody messes up on an inspection, or if like a lender happens to mess up, not the people that we know, right? But that is not the lender's fault. That is my fault as an agent.
Always.
Right.
And the last thing, you're ultimately leading this whole troop of misfits that you may or may not know, you just, they're there, and everything falls down on you as the leader. You mentioned something. You want to say something? I assume we're.
No, a question's come in from a listener is because it's small business development. We've seen a huge rush of small businesses open in the last year, right? Hundreds of thousands, right? 500 some thousand, something like that. And that was the goal. Right. And now we're probably going to see hundreds of thousands fail. Close. How do these SMART goals, the 135 GPS, 135, how do they work now? Because a goal that's achieved no longer motivates. So I wanted to be a business owner. I'm now a business owner. Now what?
Your goal is too small.
Well, yeah, I agree. I agree to a certain extent.
Yeah.
I think the goal was, if your goal is to be a business owner, that's not a smart goal.
You need to.
Sure.
I think you need to
Right?
start with, why am I getting into this business?
Well,
There's a lot of
it's-
it obviously is
yeah.
to be independent. You want to earn more money. So if you got to answer your big why, because if you answer that, why am I
yeah,
doing
That
this?
sounds like KW to me.
Exactly.
Why
Yes, it does.
why definitely drives you to know where you're going, how you're, whatever.
Mhm.
Yes.
But to me, if you're looking at it and going, I want to be a business owner, that's not a goal. That's what I
meant.
that's a checkbox,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Like that's okay. Check
Right.
the box in my bucket list.
It was one of the three.
Right?
boulders.
Yeah, I was going to say
Yeah.
that was one of the 3 boulders, right?
Because,
Right.
because you could just go launch an LLC. I own a business,
right.
but I'm intending that you probably want to own a business.
Right.
that's
Why did you
profitable.
open that business?
I could say
What are
this,
your
okay?
then you got to set goals.
Right.
Right.
So for me, one of my goals in life, it's a bucket list thing, but like still bucket lists are goals, right?
Mhm.
That's something you want to get done and accomplish. One of mine was becoming a minister, or not a minister, but a reverend, right?
Awesome.
I wanted to be a reverend, right? But I'm not just going to go out and be a reverend. And I can just go and get reverend and be, all right, I'm a reverend. I want to do it for some reason that was specific. So I told people, hey, you ever want to get married? I'll marry you. You ever want to get married? Brian and I had some friends that said, hey, I said, I'll marry you. And they said, okay. And I went, and I went, crap, now I got to go get reverend. Right. And so then I went and got reverend, and
Gotta get reverend.
I checked my bucket list because I had a reason to do it. Right. And it wasn't just go out and do it. Like, that's to me exactly my mindset on starting a business. I'm not just going to start a business. I want to go start and run and have a successful business.
A
Correct.
business worth
Right?
owning, which leads to a life worth living.
Right. Exactly. And you could go on and on about all that, and make sure. But if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it because there's a reason. I have a set, way I'm going to do it. Right. I love the fact that we're kind of going through these. How I want to expand more on getting them done. Right. Like we could set goals. We all know we're setting goals, but that day-to-day grind and getting them done.
Yeah.
What is that? You mentioned the holding yourself accountable, but
Hold on. Before we get into the grind, as successful business owners, how many hours, how many minutes, at what point in the year? We kind of heard quarterly, but how much time do you spend on these GPS SMART goals?
I'll let you guys start.
So
Mm.
I want to give credit to somebody that's not here today and who is going to be. So Mike Campbell,
Okay.
the people that I surround myself with, they tend to bring something to the table, right? Whether this is like that they're entertaining, that I find motivation through them, that they carry the conversation. I'm not interested in somebody that's just showing up to show up.
And Mike's from Key Mortgage.
Mike is from Cross Country.
Cross country.
Yeah,
There you
him and
go.
Nick do the
Cross
board.
Country. Yeah, we'll give him props, right? Give him a
Yeah,
shout
Yeah,
out.
amen.
Yeah, and so where Mike first rose his hand in my world, as entrepreneurs, we build our own schedules,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
Absolutely.
And we were sitting at the round table,
Mhm.
which is a KW product, right? Where we sit with agents from all walks of life and they share their wins and their losses, what they're struggling with, and what they-
Problems, and we help each other out.
everything. And it's groupthink. Yeah.
Mhm.
You and I both benefit from it.
Absolutely.
Quick side story. On my path to where I am now and wherever I am now and the path going forward after this is Keller Williams. There's a split in a real estate transaction, right? Like the brokerage makes some money, the agent makes some money.
Mhm.
And at one point in time, I was literally paying Keller Williams, the brokerage in Barrington, $21,000 a year, and the only thing I was using was the round table. I was 1 hour
Wow.
per week was worth 21 grand. That group thing.
But it was worth it.
That's exactly
Mhm.
right. That's
It was
exactly
worth
right.
it.
So it was at that round table that I was paying $21,000 a year for, where Mike Campbell, we were talking about making your own schedule and making your own hours and all this stuff. And he stops and he goes, guys, why are you not putting in your family time and your vacation first?
Mm. Mm.
And I went,
Mhm.
hold on,
Whoa.
who's that? Right? And I'm
Good point.
listening, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, you guys make your own schedules. Like, shouldn't your family time and the fact that you're home at 5:00 to have dinner with your family and the vacations that you're going to take during that year be first?
Into
Wow.
your schedule.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah.
That's a kick in the
And
gut.
that's the whole thing,
Yeah.
is setting a schedule. I learned that a little bit before, Mike. You schedule each day. So from 9 till 10, I'm making phone calls to past clients.
Yep.
10 to 11, I'm calling maybe for sale by owners, and then and so on and so forth. You got to actually set lunchtime aside. Do you work out? Family time, okay?
Mhm.
And you stick to that schedule. And that's how you're going to keep with your goals, and that's how you're going to keep on track and set your goals and
Can we go off on
Accom-
one tangent
accomplish
real
them.
quick?
Yeah.
So
As many tangents as you want. Wait, actually, we got 2 minutes or 1 minute. You want to make the half hour?
Yeah, we've got a minute. Go ahead.
Okay.
Tangent
Go
up.
ahead.
So just really quick, people that tend to run businesses, right?
Yep.
Where we struggle sometimes, or where we think that we struggle, is that we then wonder how the people in our organization are going to carry the main goal forward,
Mm-hmm.
right? And what shows up in my world is if I can allow for authorship of that goal to come from the people that are involved, so team members,
Right.
authorship leads to ownership, and then if they own the goal, then they don't have to motivate them because they created it.
Right. What's your goal?
That's exactly
Hey,
right.
what's your goal?
What's
You
the-
tell me your goal, and we're going to help you get that goal.
That's right.
Absolutely.
But you got to go get that goal too,
Mhm.
right? And that was one thing that we loved. I loved. My wife and I just sat down with our managers, and we, what do you want to do this year? What do you want to do? A lot of them immediately said, the business side of what we want to do. And then we go, okay, great. What do you want to do this year?
That funds what you want.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Good. What do you want to do this year? You want to go on a vacation? You want to hit X amount in pay, right? However, whatever your goals are for what you
And
want.
some may not know what they want to do, what their goals may want to be, and that's where you can help them out.
Yeah, right.
Just give them some ideas.
It's giving that thought and making sure. I mean,
Absolutely.
most of our, like our non-manager employees, those guys are, they're young. They don't quite understand
Correct.
goals and getting them, but they're getting there because they're seeing the managers talk about them. They're seeing ownership talk goals, talk what we're trying to do, talk about what we're trying to get done, and then go out and check the boxes.
But that's how
to get
you're
them done, right?
you're
Yeah.
molding them. You're sculpting their minds,
That's
to
it.
even the young
That's it.
kids. And then as they grow, they're going to help grow your business because you sculpted their mind and their thinking into that mindset. I need to set goals.
As every other organization just wants you to clock in and clock out.
Right.
You are existing in the world past the hours that they spend time with you,
Right.
and then what the future of their world might look like.
Right.
So then by you then creating that vision for them and assisting them for that that bigger vision for this, the dedication they have to you as a person is what's going to
is
carry
more
forward.
right. Me and my wife, because we both,
That's exactly right.
we both do that. We both, and we want our managers to do that for them, right? Like it's that whole team, right? That it's a trickle down effect of like, everybody takes care of everybody below them, and we all rise together, right?
Right. And they don't look at it then as a job. They're like, they actually care about me because they want to know what I want out of this. Right.
Absolutely.
And by you setting that goal for them and caring about that goal and trying to help them achieve that goal, they're going to work harder for you and help you grow your, hit your goals. And that's very important.
So, of course, you're listening to 21.6 The Net. This is In the Know with Steph and Joe, brought to you through the financial support of our good friends over at Epic Media, Inc. With the continued growth of technology these days, it's essential that you have an effective internet marketing strategy in place for your business. Whether you need a custom website designed or help just integrating your social media accounts to your business marketing program, they're the company you want to rely on for that business. Check them out at epicmediainc.com. That's epicmediainc.com. And of course, if they need to get in touch with you, got a house to sell, list, buy, whatever, how do they do that?
Yes, they can reach me on my cell, 630-330-5129, or my email, bmal@kw.com.
And of course, like a sexy thought over his shoulder, Restoration 1-847-264-4664, water, fire, mold. It's right there. It's burning right into your brain. The entire show. It's beautiful. Well placed. It's a touchdown.
I'm
Yeah.
seeing it now on the
Yeah,
screen.
right?
Yeah. You see that?
That's it.
But I only refer to it if it appears as sexy thought.
That's right over your shoulder, so you must have all
That
those
is.
thoughts right there.
All right, so we went on a bit of a tangent. How many hours? How much time do you guys just sit down for 5 minutes, blitz down a bunch of thoughts, and then you kind of figure it out from there? Or is it, I'm going to set aside on December 13th 3 hours to really dig into my 1-3-5s?
Yeah, I roughly set in about an hour per quarter. Check out how I did last quarter. Okay, if I did my goals, okay, What do I got to do to accomplish my goals for the next quarter? So it shouldn't take you more than an hour. If you are, then you're really just thinking about, other things. You're off on another tangent.
Right.
So you shouldn't spend
a good
more than
point.
an hour,
That's a great point. And I'm curious, I mean, similar or
So the determination of how much time it actually requires to accomplish the goals shows up in my calendar through time blocking.
Mhm.
Okay.
So I've already done that math, right? And so where mine's a little bit different is that I have access to the same number of hours in the day that you guys do, but the only difference is that I'm dedicating certain moments in time throughout my day, which then equate to my week and my month, and then the amplification of my effort through people, which shows up as leverage. And so I've already figured out the math on what it would take to acquire that the five. Right,
Boulders,
the
right?
five little topics under the three boulders that lead to the one big thing, and then I know that through that cadence and that math that I will hit the metrics because math is math.
Love that.
Yeah.
So to me, it's, I'm kind of a blended of both of you. Okay. So you set down your hour, right? And then you kind of walk through time throughout each, week, month, whatever it may be. You're talking to people, you're doing. I like to take and sit down for an hour, whatever it may be, chew on it, right? And then I'll go back a week later and sit down on it for another hour, chew on it. But then eventually at some point I boil down my exact goals, write them down. Those are the exact goals. And then throughout the year, I'm always pulling them up. Some people mention that they put them on their close screen. So that way when they pull it up, but as you can see, I'm a Detroit Red Wings fan. So that's
Sorry to
not
hear
going to
that.
go.
I was waiting for somebody.
That's not going to go anywhere. And that's going
womp,
to stay
womp.
right there is that symbol. But
And Joe will
but
no
I've
longer
heard-
be on the show anymore.
I've heard a lot of people put them on their closed screen or on the background, of their home screen when they're up. So that way they're constantly looking at them. And, if it's constantly in your head,
Mhm.
you want to write it down so that way it doesn't change.
I
It's
have a
not
whiteboard
gone.
in my room,
Right.
and the
There it
whiteboard
is.
up there, I have my goals set.
You wake up in the morning, you're
We
staring at your
also
goals.
do at Kelvin's. You also do something called a vision board.
Yep.
Okay, hang that up. It's got all your goals set on it. Why are you doing this? Okay, so you wake up every morning, you see that, and that if it doesn't motivate you, then I'm sorry, you shouldn't be in business. But
Right.
you see that these are my goals. I gotta get going. I gotta hit it. I gotta get at it.
And that's where, so to me, like, you see them every day, you A, are going to write them down, but B, if you see them every day, they're in your head, right? Like, you could close your eyes and see them, right? You know your goals inside and out. So then once you start knowing your goals and they're memorized and they're in your head, you're still going to go and see them, like you said, on the whiteboard when you wake up or go to bed every night, right? On the back of your screen of your phone. But when you ultimately go and go to accomplish those goals, as you're accomplishing them, I mentioned we kind of hit our big hairy goal last year, and we knew we were going to hit it in August, and so we went, all right, we got to change our goal.
Absolutely.
But if I wasn't aware of what our goal was going to be,
How would you know if you
in
what you
August
accomplished
or
or
in
didn't,
whenever,
right?
and when we hit that, and I went, wait, we're going to hit our big audacious hairy goal, big hairy audacious goal. So we need to change that goal, and then that way we can continue to push on and try and hit a bigger goal, right? Because we know we're going to get it. And without being aware of that is what I'm kind of getting at, is where, how aware of your goals, and do they change as you're going?
So I was looking for something on my phone and I can't find it. But if you want to go down a rabbit hole, Warren Buffett, okay,
Smart man.
Yep, he's got his hands in a whole bunch of things. He has an avoid at all costs list. And so if you were to Google Warren Buffett's method that he might use to deploy and determine what he needs to avoid, there's a step-by-step process that you could follow that allows you to create a list, right? So it takes everything that you spend your time on and what is important to your driving force of your business. And then anything that does not immediately equate to you accomplishing that goal goes on your do not do ever list until you accomplish these things. And the fascinating thing about this process is that you identify things that wouldn't actually show up in your goal setting. So while I could pull up my list of these things that I would need to accomplish that go on my accomplish this to accomplish the larger goal in my life, one of those items is to become a well-practiced fly fisherman.
I can.
Isn't that something?
Yep.
Yeah.
But that see,
I
okay,
can teach you.
that's a bucket list.
Yes.
But it also plays into the goal. So by applying time to this through the equation that Warren Buffett has provided, is that when I've accomplished that, this is something that then leads to my larger goal because it diminishes the time that I have access to because it's a hobby of mine. If you went down a rabbit hole, you'd have to go.
That's
Google.
interesting.
It's
okay.
fascinating.
So, and that's a much grander, I guess you call it a macroeconomic scale of the micro form that I've heard of that of, you get a goal, there's the noise, right? That doesn't help you, right? Like, oh, I'm in my office and here I am, I got to get all these bills out, but I have all these stamps here that need to be arranged in order so that way I can lick them and put them on the envelopes, right? Neatly. And that's important about sending those bills. But is it as important as getting those bills done? Right? No, it's just a stupid thing. And I could easily take the stamps and just lick them and put them on this envelope. And I don't need to organize them. But in my mind, sometimes I go, I need to organize these stamps to make sure that I get the bills done.
Yeah.
Right?
As entrepreneurs, we're really great at being busy.
Yeah, exactly.
Distractions.
And that's it.
Right. Distractions
It's,
stop us from our goals.
And my wife calls it sorting screws. I'll go out into the garage and I'll sort screws, is what she says.
It's a mental space for you because you're not just focusing on screws. And some of the really highly accomplished people in our world, they will literally set a time aside in their calendar every day to do nothing.
Right.
And you're not looking at your phone, you're not on a computer, it's literally you, and that is it.
I smoke a lot of weed.
Good for you.
And that's how I do nothing.
Yeah.
And
I think anybody that's listening to what Joe just said just now, they're like, oh, go look up what happened might be the byproduct of consuming cannabis and THC.
Well, I mean, I'm not worried about
I know you're
critics or anything like that. But what I'm saying is, I take the time to go and go.
It's mental space.
All right, I'm good. Yep. All right, let's go. I think I pulled a boat out of B-Mall's Lake recently, and I went and literally took the entire boat apart in like 2 days. And it's not that I like, my wife calls it being Ant-Man because I'm not a big guy, but so I can't Hulk out, right? I'm not that big. But I go and I just can focus and get a bunch of stuff done, but I got to turn off every once in a while. And so I turn on my body off, I turn my mind off.
You need time for you too.
I'm done. Yeah. And then I can jump right back in it and go, all right, time to turn back on. Boom.
If you don't have that time, then when you're supposed to be doing your goal setting or whatever you're doing for the day,
right? That's
why you're fidgeting around, like, oh, look, let me play over here a little bit.
Sorting screws.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what my wife calls it. Sorting
screws. You need that downtime so you can focus when it comes time to focus.
Step out of reality for a little bit.
Yeah. How? Okay. Questions. How do you step out of reality? How do you step out of reality, Dan?
Yeah. I'll go first. So it's a recent one. So I have actively avoided an Xbox for a very long time.
Okay.
And it allows me to literally step out of reality.
Totally.
For even a small period of time. Now it's, because my time is pretty well time blocked and there's a moment in time towards the end of the evening before a lot of people, I guess I'll backtrack. A lot of people think that their day starts when they get up. It actually starts the night before when you go to bed.
Totally. You have to prep for bed. Yes,
that's exactly right. And so I have a moment in time where there's no need for my time. And so it is mine, and I can decide what I want to do with it. What is most beneficial to me is to step out of the cadence of my life and go. It's a realistic. It's Battlefield, right? And
I was gonna say, what's your game of choice?
Yeah, it's blowing shit up.
Lovely. Okay, I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
And love that.
I just step out of reality for that little. It could be 20 minutes.
Okay. Now I've heard a lot of research about how blue light from screens late at night is bad. So do you wear the blue blocker glasses?
I don't, but it's been something I've been looking into as well because I know that it messes up your circadian rhythm.
It does, but then they kind of turn everything yellow when you're not looking up. I've got several.
I'm sure you
can
retint your screen.
Actually, you know what you just
no,
said,
it's your glasses.
I'm probably practicing that because the electronics that exist in my life, they will change the hue.
They'll do the night vision, whatever.
My TV does that too.
Yep. Okay, lovely. So that's my, I immediately walked down that rabbit hole of like, if you're looking at a screen, because most people I know, they sit on a couch and watch TV to turn off at night or watch a movie at night, right? And or they lay in bed and watch a movie and watch a show, and that's how they turn off. And then, like me, I play on my phone. And then my wife catches me in the middle of the night, laying back with my phone and my lap still on, right? And like that's it. But like, that's how I do it when I turn off at night. I agree. You have to go through your rhythm. You figure that out. You learn how to do that. You utilize it the best as possible. What we didn't get on to B-Mall actually.
It's okay.
Yeah, no, come on. We're going into you
Just
now.
call me Charlie
Before
Brown,
I move on, let's get into you.
How do you turn off?
Yeah.
I turn
Because I know that you live
Yeah.
on a lake, so
Yes.
I have an idea of how you turn off.
Summertime is definitely go out at the end of my pier and casting out there, and just cell phone stays in the house, and I go out there and cast. Fall, winter time, it's more of I take my dog for walks. There's a lot of hiking trails around by me also, and I'll take her out there because I love nature, and just being out there and hearing all the nature around you and the dogs, enjoying it too. To me, that's my down unwinding time. Just I love nature, and hence why I live on a lake and can take full advantage of it. So it's just relaxation.
I used to take our oldest dog Tootsie for a walk. You said walking Lou, Luis. I used to take Tootsie for a walk at 1:00 in the morning around our neighborhood for like 2 miles, and that was back when I was like 23, 24. You know what I mean? But like I was up till 2 a.m. So the last thing I did was take the dog for a walk, and she would sleep in till 10:00 in the morning with me, whatever I wanted. But it was awesome because her and I could just go out, check out whether it was raining or not. We didn't care. We'd bundle up, wrap up, and go walking, right?
Because you were stoned.
I was smoking. I smoked the entire time. You're right. See, like there's a consistency here with me.
We know why you walk the dog.
There was no dog. It's like the Matrix. There is no dog.
Yeah, they make these things called dog walkers now.
Oh my God. Those leashes at Great America. It was just like a leash.
No, one of those
from Great America. Yeah, just had the leash going down. Yeah, I'm walking my dog. The neighbors are looking at it. That's why he did it at 1 a.m. Everybody's in bed already.
You heard that be the person your dog thinks you are?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And like, yes, I have 4 dogs, so it's really hard to be because they all probably think I'm somebody different.
Sure.
You ever wonder what they named you?
Right.
Daddy. Because when anybody yells daddy, they run to daddy, and when anybody yells mommy, they run to mommy. They know who's who in the house. Yeah, I think they know.
Have you seen those YouTube videos? It's like the perspective of a cat, and he calls the machine that picks up all the mess that makes a lot of noise vacuum. Vacuum is everything. You run when vacuum shows up.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So, question come in from a listener as well is how long do you leave something on your goal list after you continually miss it? Right. So you've written a goal, let's say, and you're a business owner, and here it is, the 3rd year you've written it down, and you still haven't hit it. Do you take it off? Is it then not a goal?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, like, there's things that just flash into my mind when I hear people say certain things. And as we were all progressing through, well, hopefully towards the end of this whole pandemic thing, but as people were progressing through that and dealing with it, I kept hearing burnout. I'm burnt out. I'm burning out. I don't want to burn out. But I think you actually just changed your mind.
Yeah.
And mindset.
That's okay. Yeah. That's okay. And so if something exists on your goal list and you have not done anything, I don't know what that metric is, right. But if you are now questioning, how long should this be on here? I would then wonder, is it okay to take it off?
And see, I have I want to
go ahead.
I have, my mindset is it depends on the goal.
Right.
Right. So like and I'm going to jump back to bucket list, right? Like there's a difference between what's an annual goal versus a bucket list, or i.e. not bucket list, a life goal. Right, like maybe a life.
Maybe it was
goal.
A life goal that they set.
Right, and if it's a life goal, to me, it stays on there because Absolutely. You hear people at 90, 100 years old.
That's a good nuance.
Doing something that like going skydiving or whatever they're doing, at because it was just a goal that they wanted to do, getting their degree. Right, whatever it may be, you hear of this. So I think that if you have a goal that is a life goal, not an annual or a 5-year goal or whatever. Yeah, business or even a personal goal. Like I would love to be, I wanted to be a boat owner. Right. I'm a boat owner now, right? Like, but I may not have gotten that for another 3 or 4 years. I'm not taking that off my list, but I want to own some snowmobiles very soon, right? If I don't get them in 3 or 4 years, I'm not taking them off the list. They're still there. but I would love to build a kit car, right, from scratch. You get every nut, bolt, and washer in a bag, right, and the directions. I want to do that because that is something really cool to me. I would love to build a kit car, and so, but that's not something I'm going to do when I'm 30, 40, 50. Well, I'm not 30 anymore. When I'm 40, 50, 60 years old, right? Like it may be when I'm 70, 80 years old that I finally get to building a kit car. But that to me is a life goal or a bucket list item.
Yeah.
And it really depends. So to me, it depends on the goal. Now, if you're not hitting your sales goals, that's a different thing. That's kind of more like, well, maybe you have to adjust what you're doing to get to those goals.
Correct.
Not necessarily get rid of the goal. If you're talking to people and, you know, like a person that an accountability partner or a mentor boss or, you know, somebody that you know that's an aspiring person and you're talking to them and they say, yeah, that's a very good goal. Go get it. Maybe you just got to change your approach, not necessarily change your goal, but
what steps did you take to write that goal down? If it's a life goal, keep it up there because eventually that's your whole, you know, plan is to hit that goal. But if it's something in business, how long do you keep it up there? It depends. Maybe you set your goals too high, or maybe you're not aggressive enough in your business. You know, maybe you're not doing something, you know, like you said, maybe you need an accountability partner to hold you accountable. You know, whatever your business may be, it could be even a paper route guy.
Sure.
You know, maybe I want an extra 10 people on my route this time. You know, what did you do? Did you go door knocking or did you send flyers out? You know, did you do something to get those extra 10 people?
Sit on your butt and say nothing?
Right. So if you didn't do something to accomplish that goal, that's kind of on you. Okay. Then what do you need to do? Ask yourself, what do I need to do to improve to hit that goal? Okay. So from the caller perspective, that's, you know, we need to know kind of what goal it was. Was it a
I just
lifetime
found
goal or
myself
business
wondering
goal?
if bucket goals, like bucket list, if that was the same thing as the goal, or if those are the byproduct of you achieving your goal.
Good question. So to me, I set up my bucket list items as goals.
Yeah.
Right. I want to not only get a kit car, but have the time and the energy and the ability to put it together.
Yeah.
And drive it down the road.
Yeah.
Right. That's a goal.
See, so again, I can only like work inside of my headspace. So I know that one of my like what I will do, where I will find some sort of level of accomplishment, is that I have the freedom and the financial stability to own a haunted house.
Cool.
How weird is that?
Like an attraction or a true?
Like an attraction.
Oh, okay.
Although I think the attraction might be built inside of what was once haunted.
Yeah.
Love that.
Right. But the only way I get there is
yeah.
if I have the financial stability and the freedom to actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But that's hitting annual goals to get that big.
That's what I'm saying.
That big goal, right?
Right.
Okay. So I guess if I were to look at it, one of my goals would be to check all my bucket list items. Right? Like bucket list, I don't know. Bucket list item to me is a goal. If I set it right. But yeah, I have to hit other goals.
Like how are you going to build the kit car if you don't have the time?
Right.
So your bucket list might be one of the 3 boulders, right? And then some of the 5 are getting you to a bucket list. Perhaps.
Yeah, maybe, but no. I think a one boulder thing is or one bucket, one goal of the one. In the goal is going to be building and driving a kit car down the road. Right now I would need to go out and acquire space, right? I would need to have the funds and I would need to have the time. There's the 3, right? Now, how do I go and acquire the space, right? So to me, building a kit car and driving it down the road, I can easily spell out that 135 that I need to get that done.
Right. What time do you have on it?
That's the thing though is
so it's not a SMART goal.
Lifetime. That's the bucket list though.
Yeah,
so the bucket list isn't a SMART goal.
Right.
Well, the bucket list is because it's in my lifetime.
But you didn't set set a time frame.
Okay, all right.
But
fine.
you want
70,
right?
I'll throw a number out there.
Right?
I'll throw whatever you want me to at the wall and see what's
a meteor comes down and hits us at the end of this show.
Everybody's goals are done.
I'm just saying,
it doesn't
right?
matter what your goals are.
You don't.
They're all done.
Did you guys see that was a question? Did you ever see Don't Look Up?
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
And people started asking these scientists, like, is that a reality?
Right.
Well, we know enough about the asteroid fields that surround us and what we're likely to be impacted by that a world-ending event is not likely, but that doesn't say there isn't one that couldn't wipe out us.
Right.
Well, it's like
Right.
they more like come
So-
whizzing by, right?
Yeah.
Right. But what I'm saying is you're like, hey, in my lifetime, you don't know what your expiration date is.
You're right.
Correct.
Which,
Right. So you have to put a date on it. You got to
which
be like,
to me
hey,
though,
Which is why we were
To
talking
me,
about earlier,
right.
goal setting.
that's
you know,
why.
set-
But
you're saying, okay, it's a bucket list, but I want you to put a deadline on it. I'm going to hold you accountable.
There you
You're
go.
But
accountable.
That's what I
that's-
wanna hear.
That's where I will move. So again, this is when I go back and look at my goals, right? I can take my bucket list items and I can adjust them, right?
Yes.
I know that my being a reverend got moved swiftly to the top, right? It was a goal of mine to be a reverend and wed somebody. But again, I could say that's by the time I'm 70, by the time I'm retired, by the time I'm whatever. The bucket list. Okay, here's the difference between goals and a bucket list. A bucket list is not time bound. It's a SMAR goal.
it's a
Not a
smart.
Smar.
It's a SMAR goal.
Let me write this one down. And what dictionary is that one in?
It's a SMAR goal. It's not
That's
a
a
smart
smart.
goal. It's a
Very
SMAR
smart.
goal, right? It is just not.
The T is silent.
That's the only thing that's not in a bucket list, right? The bucket stole the T in SMART goals, and
The
it's
T
no,
fell into the bucket.
That's
but
right.
that to me is the only thing in a bucket list, because I could totally boil down a bucket list item and give you exactly what I want to do it and how I want to do it, but whether or not I do it is not necessarily something the time wise, right? It could be when I'm 70, it could be when I'm 80. 5 minutes? Nice. So it could be 70, 80, whatever it may be. I really don't care. I just would love to see that done. And if I can accomplish my other goals, I'm going to go ahead and accomplish that goal. That would be like a BHAG in my, right?
Yeah.
My lifetime BHAG. So lifetime BHAG would be to build a kit car and drive it down the road, right?
Here's the cool
That's
thing.
the time. That's time bound.
The cool thing about this show is, you three gentlemen live and it's important. Goals are important to you. You can hear your passion and it drives your business.
Well, look how passionate he got when we started questioning.
I know.
But the
Right.
reason why it's so passionate
Yeah.
is because you authored it.
Because that's my goal.
Right.
Right.
That's right.
And you're all very, very successful. And for everybody listening who tunes in on small business development, try to catch this fire that they have here. You hear, I mean, we've heard it ad nauseum. There's books out there everywhere, but here's three very successful businessmen who live and breathe this, right? And you can tell by how passionate they are. And reach out to them. Again,
let's
how do they get in
again.
touch with you?
Email.
All right. Brian Maloney, cell phone 630-330-5129, or you can email me at bmal@kw.com.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
If you are interested in launching an entrepreneurial effort and becoming a real estate agent in the state of Illinois, and if Keller Williams has earned the opportunity to be in business with you, you can head over to movewithkw.com, spelled just the way it sounds, movewithkw.com. Click on the Get in Touch button. And regardless of your licensing status, you need to get a real estate license, you're transferring to another brokerage, or if this is something brand new to you, you can get in contact with us there. If you want to speak to me directly, you can find me by Googling I Am Icon. That's IAMIKAHN, and I pop up everywhere.
That is awesome. And Joe, what about you?
Joe Turner. Do not call my cell phone. I do not like it when
You
people
noticed that I
have.
did not give that out.
Yeah, I
This
have
guy.
a. Yeah, that guy.
400,000
He did
listeners
that.
out there.
400,000 people. Singapore. I want you guys to call Brian's cell phone.
And whatever noon is
Yeah.
for you.
Middle of the
Can
day.
you do that through Collect, so it's charged to him? That would be epic. Joe Turner, Restoration One. You can reach us at www.restoration1.com/carry. Or if it is an emergency, please call 847-264-4664. Say it's an emergency. You'll get passed straight through. Our crew is happy to get out 24/7 and make sure you are taken care of and clean and lovely and all that good stuff. So,
Singapore said they'll call Collect.
yeah. Just don't call Collect to us. Call Collect from Singapore to Brian. That was epic. Bull Play is calling Collect for you,
That's
sir.
right.
Yes.
Have your
That
phone
is
rings.
awesome.
That is it.
Love you,
Your
Singapore.
cell phone bill.
Oh my gosh, this is gonna be epic. B-Mall, I'll split it with you if it does come in like that.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, this is gonna be epic. So I really appreciate you guys coming out. It's been a fun show.
Thanks for having us.
We'll definitely do this again because I think there's a little bit more that we could unpack with
Absolutely.
teams and how we work with each other and how we are successful and growing. And we'll have to do it again and get Mike on here because we talk so highly about him. He's got to be able to defend himself.
That's
Right?
It could be worse, Mike.
It could have been way worse. So really appreciate it. Are we at our moments?
Yeah,
Time?
we're here.
We're here. Appreciate it, guys. In
Thanks,
the know
everybody.
with Steph and
Tuning in.
Joe.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, Brian. Appreciate it, Dan. You guys, happy New Year. And we'll see you next week.
That's it. Hey, thanks for tuning in. 216 Net. Come back in about an hour for 2 Bald Guys and Mike, followed by the Dream Home Experts at 8. Tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Central, we've got Living Low Sodium with Mary Shep. Sunday, we've got Lisa's Changing Perceptions, Fellowship of Faiths, Power Hour, and of course, Lana is the Metaphysical Meanderer. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Enjoy the weekend.